Well guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. Out on the streets of downtown today. It is close to winter now, so we're getting some really nice light, and along with that light you get great shadows, so that's one bonus about getting out doing the street during the winter months. Now, a bit of an update since my last video. I have recently lost my job, unfortunately, so that sucks, as it is the build up to Christmas, so it's something I could have done without. But the good news is I'm going back to the UK for Christmas, so I'm really excited for that. I'm going to be able to bring you more video, more images, more content. Now, people probably thinking, well, your channel's monetized and you make money off YouTube. That's simply just not the case. In a month period, you'd be lucky if I make enough that covers my trip over to Vancouver Island on the ferry. So that's the reality of YouTube. So I'm nearly at my first location. I'm gonna enjoy the day, get out on one of these streets and see what images we can capture. So I was saying earlier on about when you're getting close to winter, about those shadows getting a lot longer, and you get nice patches of light in the city because the sun's lower in the sky. You find that it filters through the streets a lot differently than it would if it was straight up above. Summertime and times like that, it tends to be bright everywhere, but in the winter time you just get pockets of light in certain areas on the street, along with those longer shadows. So I've just been walking further along. I've got the 14mm on at the moment, and I love the way you've got this section of light on the crossing here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go over there with the 14mm. I'm going to get right up close to the fire hydrant there and get low down. I'm going to include the buildings in the background, and I just want someone either standing or crossing at the crossing there. Now, the difficulty I've got, there's a lot of traffic, so I want to try and get it when the traffic's quiet and try and pick a singular subject. I'm simply going to be focusing directly on the fire hydrant, and anyone in that area around 5.6 is going to be sharp, including the background itself. So that's what I'm looking for today, just those pockets of light that interest us, or the shadows on the ground. And using the 14mm, you can get really low down with those shadows to create shapes in your foreground. So I'm going to hang around here for about 10-15 minutes, see what people come along, see how that light changes, and see what I come up with. The light's just starting to appear on the buildings opposite, and what's happening is The building to my right hand side here, to your left, it's actually a lot of glass. It's a really tall building and it reflects that light, and what happens is it reflects the light onto the building opposite, and you get some amazing light spilling across the pavement and the building, and it really creates a nice image. And using that 14mm, I can really fit a lot of that building in. So I've just got to wait for more of that light to reflect on those windows opposite of the building and see if I can capture a shot. And you'll be able to see here that we're already getting some of that light spilling over onto the opposite side of the street. And what happens is you get the light going across the end of the alleyway here. I can include these bins. You can capture some of the building opposite. You can see the light just starting to hit that side of the building, and all that light's gonna come over to this side. And all you have to do is simply step to the side, wait for subjects like you can see walking past there, and try and capture an image. So that's 2 shots that I can go for in this one area. So just got to wait a little bit longer for more of that light. It is starting to come, and see what we can capture. So you'll be able to see why winter time's a really good time to be out doing street photography, because of how different the light is on the streets. You've got those longer shadows, you've got those pockets of light. Now when it comes to lenses for my street photography, the 14mm and the 35mm are my favourite 2 lenses. Now the reason for that is the 35mm is close to what we see with the human eye. So you've kind of got an idea of how the composition's going to look. Now the 14mm, people think it's a tricky focal length to use for street because it's so wide. But what you can do with the 14mm is get a lot more creative, get low to the ground. You know, you're still capturing the subjects, and a lot of the time, because you're so close to foreground subjects, people don't even realise that they're in the shot because of that wide focal length. So don't be deterred by using a wide focal length. You can really get creative with it and have some fun. See, even though it's close to midday, there's still not a lot of light on the streets. So you've just got to be patient and keep walking about and looking for that light. It's always going to be the light that attracts, and then work around that light with your compositions. Just have fun with your photography, and that's why coming out with the 14mm you can get a lot more creative, and 35mm you can get more of a natural perspective. So try those 2 focal lengths. Let us know if you like them. Let us know if you like street photography, because I love it this time of the year, and it's all because of that light. So hope you're enjoying this wander around downtown. We're getting some really nice light today because there's no clouds whatsoever in the sky. So hope you're enjoying the images. Now I came to this particular street here and I was attracted initially by the lights on the side of the building here. And I'm able to simplify this image by just using the light. The light on the side of the building is really interesting. It's got some nice metal wrapped around it, so it creates interest. There's a doorway there. There's a lamppost over my left shoulder there. And I just simply want to wait a little bit longer for that light to move down onto the sidewalk. So that's going to be the image, just a simple image, nice clean image. Wait a little bit longer, wait for the subject to walk up this sidewalk and get the shot. And I'll continue the walk around downtown. Now when it comes to focusing, I tend to switch. Sometimes I'll use manual focus, sometimes I'll use back button focus. I've used back button focus in the last couple of shots, and what I can do with that is I can simply frame up a shot, get the composition how I want it, watch for subjects walking through the shot and pre-focus on that specific area. And then every shot that I take after that, it's going to be focused on the same area. I'm also using those wider apertures when I'm using the 14mm. Now the good thing about that is you're still going to have very much all of the image in focus because it's such a wide focal length. If you're using the 50mm or the 85, you're going to have a lot less in focus. So that's another benefit of using the wide angle lens. You can get away with those wider apertures, and which means you're going to get a lot quicker shutter speed at the same time. Now what initially attracted us to this image was you've got the graffiti in the background there on the side of the wall as the alleyway leads up, and then to the side you've got that blank bit of wall. It's a nice blank canvas for someone walking into the shop. But what I'm wanting to do is, I love the arch of the sidewalk here. You've got the curb, then it leads over, and then you've got the pavement that carries on up to my left. So what I want to do is get down low with the 14mm and use the curvature in that sidewalk there. It just adds a nice foreground interest, and then you're going to have the sidewalk leading off to the left hand side, and I'm just going to utilize the corner of that building. You've got the interest of the graffiti to the right hand side, but you've also got that blank wall. So when subjects are walking into that shot, they're really going to stand out, because if I took a shot where the subject was walking past the graffiti, they wouldn't really stand out. So that's why, you know, looking for those blank canvases, simple images stand out and work really well. But I don't know if you noticed, I said to you earlier on about reflective light. Now you get reflective light off the side of light buildings as well. It's not just those glass buildings, and because the building there to my left hand side, it's really lit up. But what that creates is, if you look on the opposite side of the street, the light's actually bouncing over to this side, so there could be a possible image there. And the interest for me is the alleyway, the light, and the corner of that building. So I'm going to try that for an image as well, see if I can capture a subject walking down the sidewalk. Now what I tend to do is I tend to hang about for a long time watching subjects walk through that light. Now it's going to change all the time, the shadows are going to change, so always stay a bit longer than you need to, and just watch how that light changes. So that's going to be another image that I'm going to try. So I'm going to get back and try and get these shots. I've just got to wait a little bit longer for the light on the side of this building, and then I'll try and capture a shot behind us at the same time. So I've came a bit further into downtown. It is mid-afternoon now, so it is rather busy. You'll be able to see on the streets behind us. But I've been attracted to this light on the opposite side of the street. Like before, I've got a building behind us here, which has got a lot of glass, and the way that the direction of the sunlight is, it's actually bouncing off that building onto the opposite side, and we're getting some spill coming up from the street itself. So I want to try a couple of shots here. Now I've noticed on the opposite side, got this strip of light. You've got this like print on the side of the glass here, but you've got this thin strip of light. So the idea I've got is, when it's a little bit quieter, I want to get an interesting subject walking towards that light. Now I want them at the beginning of where that strip of light ends. Now this stretch of road here, I'm actually on Granville Street, and you've got the buses going by. Now while I've been standing here, as the buses passes, what you can see, because the background's so bright and the bus itself's in shade, you can actually see quite clearly over to the other side of the sidewalk by looking through the bus windows as that bus goes by. And what I want to also capture is a subject at the other side of that bus as the bus is moving. Now, those of you will know in the past, I don't use high-speed burst. I feel like it's cheating. It's not much of an achievement when you've got to pick out of 10 shots. So I want to try and grab it in one shot. Now that might take time, but taking time is going to make you a better photographer. So that's what I want to go for. I'm simply going to wait for the bus to go by, focus on the opposite side of the street. Doesn't matter about the bus being in focus, because it's going to be pretty dark anyway, and I'm just going to expose for the highlights. It's getting really busy now. Now I'm going to be shooting this with the 35mm. It's a natural focal length, and it's getting everything I want in the shot from the opposite side of the street. So you'll see how I've been switching between the 14 and the 35mm. Two great focal lengths, definitely for street photography. So if you haven't been out and tried those focal lengths, get out and try them. But as you can see, it's all kicking off in downtown, so I'm going to get back and try and get these shots. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed those last couple of images that I was able to bring you. I was really pleased with how the shot of the moving bus worked out. I've got that guy on the skateboard going through that light, and then I got that interesting girl that was walking towards that light, and I got her at the beginning of the shot, and you had that leading line of the light itself. Now the 35mm, like I said, it's going to give you a more natural look, and the 14mm, it's going to give you more of a creative look, so you can get close to those foregrounds, lower down, which you can also do with the 35, just the 14mm is going to look a bit more dramatic. So I'm not sure where I'm going to be in my next video. Now I did have plans to go over to Vancouver Island to have a catch up with Adam. Now he's still in Scotland at the moment, but he's due back early December. I am available for one-to-one workshops here in downtown, so if you're interested in a workshop, head over to my website barnham.com and check out the information on my website along with the images that I've captured. Now in May of 2024 I'm going to be heading over to Vancouver Island, and I'm going to be doing a joint workshop with Adam Gibbs. We're going to be going to the old growth forest of Camana Provincial Park. So for more information about that workshop, head over to Adam's website adamgibbs.com and you'll see all the information. Give us a thumbs up and leave a comment as always. If you haven't seen my channel before, hit the subscribe button, it'd be much appreciated and help support my channel. I'm just going to carry on with a walk home now, still getting some great light, but I'm going to save that for next time. So until next time, thanks for watching, bye bye.